The past 15 years, I've met a lot of gatekeepers. Being in the film industry, being in education, it seems like everybody's always trying to keep information to themselves. So over the course of this video, it's going to be a little bit different than what my other videos are. I just want to be even more transparent, and I want to be even more forthcoming with everything that I'm learning over the course of this experiment. So here's 10 things I learned on the path to 500 subscribers. Number 1, watch out for gurus. What I mean by gurus, I mean anybody that's offering you a get rich quick. I'm sure that you've seen 150,000 of these thumbnails as you've been on your journey. I think all of these industries that are very, very hard to navigate end up with gatekeepers. There is no right way to do this. It's going to be hard. So everything that is hard is going to have somebody that is right outside that kind of pitfall, ready to tell you that they can do this, they can do this, they can do this. And so with that in mind, I wouldn't spend a lot of time down those avenues because you'll need to be able to get through this without spending a lot of money. And if you do spend a lot of money, you will never make it to the end of this. So another reason why I think you should avoid these kind of fast tracks is because it is hard. And so what that means, if you start to speed it up, if you try to make it faster, you're going to find your audience faster. But when you have to slow down, then your audience is not going to be there for you. So nobody's going to understand that maybe you only make one video a month. And so if you try to speed this up, you're going to end up with an audience that really isn't your audience. And so I think going slow is a little bit better of a path. And I've been able to try to slow it down a little bit. And so as of recording this, I know it says it's the 500 update, but I think there's about 620 subscribers on here. So if that's one of you, thank you so much. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be another subscriber. So stop looking at your analytics. I really mean this one. The analytics of all of your videos are a modern technological feat that was only available to TV stations and Nielsen ratings for a long time. And the analytics are great, but I started going down that path way too much. It became very, very stressful. I was looking at every day, kind of hourly, what was going on, how many people I got, how many people I'd lost, things like that. And so what I look at now is analytics. Don't look at the analytics for your video at least until 48, 72 hours afterwards. I don't even look at them for a week. That's my new kind of rule. So after a week, you're going to kind of know if things are working. And so after that first week, you're going to be able to look back and go, okay, this worked, this didn't work. Maybe I can change the thumbnail if nobody's watching it. But something to think about these analytics is they're like compound interest. So let's go interest compounded. That compound interest ends up being massive for you. So I have a video right now that was a tutorial of just how to use Adobe Premiere, and it started out with 30 or 40 views over that first month, and at this point it's over like 16 or 1700 views. And so that took 7 or 8 months, but now that I have 50 videos, think what will happen with all of those. So you know what you like, you know what you don't like, so look at it. And if I like it and my audience likes it, then the analytics are just not relevant. So you're going to see a lot of things in those videos. You're going to see click-through rate, you're going to see watch time, you're going to see retention. And so all of these things I've realized are just not that important unless you're trying to do something really, really, really fast. If I'm trying to build something and it's a slow burn, also nobody knew me when I started this. I've been doing film for almost 20 years, but nobody knew me on YouTube. Nobody knew me on any of these platforms. So I had to kind of start from scratch, even though I had been doing it for a while. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some time, and it will build. So the click-through rate is the percentage of people that look past your thumbnail. So they looked at your thumbnail and they clicked on it. This is usually a very good way to know if the thumbnail and the title is working. So if you have kind of a 3 or 4% is what I've realized. Anything over 2 or 3% really is kind of good over the long term of it. If you can get it to 5 or 10 or 15%, Godspeed. You probably don't need this video. So the watch time is very important because that's what you're going to need to be able to monetize. So remember, you need like 4,000 hours and you need 1,000 subscribers. That same video that has the same amount of views on that Adobe Premiere tutorial is also the one that has almost a third of my watch hours for this entire channel, which is wild. That was in my old studio back before I moved, before I learned I was losing my job. And so that was available that's still available and people are finding it now. Also, when they find it, they're finding a bunch of my other things. So just keep building slowly and getting it all up there. The retention, this kind of becomes like a red herring, because if you have a video that's 30 seconds and you have videos that are an hour long, you might have a 20 or 30% retention, but that's a different amount of time for the 30-second video versus the hour-long video. So I really don't even look at that right now. Really, I'm only focused on watch hours. Watch hours and subscribers. Like, are those things climbing? Are people really liking what I'm making? So if you're this far into it, looks like we're probably 10-ish minutes into the video. So this is a huge amount of watch time if this video ends up being 25 or 30 minutes. I don't know how long it's going to be because I haven't edited it yet. But so I would just look at your watchtower. I would look at your watch hours. Don't really worry about the click-through rate early on. Just try to see, are people watching it? I have videos on here that have 8 or 9 views and then got 2 or 3 subscribers off those 8 or 9 views. So I think YouTube should have been sending it out more, but they didn't. So whatever. So analytics, stop looking at them so much. Delete that YouTube Studio off of your phone immediately. Do not have YouTube on your phone. That thing is a gateway to the bottom of the depths of your mental health. And you'll think that everything sucks. And what I'm saying is, a year later, I can't believe there's 620 some I had subscribers here just over the last semester. So I'm doing these in semesters because I'm a teacher. So August to December. Next semester will start in January. It'll go through May. And so just in that one semester, there's like 400 some odd subscribers, 500 to 600 watch hours. So those are things that are going to keep compounding. And it's all because of people like you that are continuing to watch this. So if you're enjoying this, please give us a like and subscribe. And by us, I mean me. I do all of this by myself. Stop spending money. The only way that this is sustainable, because the whole YouTube thing of 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 people, it's going to take you a long time. So I'm just going to read some analytics to you really quick of some data. All right, so Amra and Elma LLC put together a study that they were talking about how many YouTube channels are successful. These are the numbers. So today there are well over 114 million active YouTube channels. That's individuals, businesses, all kinds of things. And about 90% of them are not monetized. About 97% of them have fewer than 10,000 subscribers. So if you're at 500, you're already in like the top 90% of people on YouTube. And that was wild. I got an email that said from some website, congratulations, you're in the top whatever because you had 500 subscribers and the amount of watch hours. And I'm a little blown away that that's the case, because what I'm hearing is people complaining about how many viewers they have and how many subscribers they have, when arguably that's who you're complaining to, is your viewer and your subscribers. So try to change that. Would you be surprised if 13 to 15 people knocked on your door and said, I want to see your short film? Would you be surprised if somebody watched 300 or 400 hours worth of you teaching how to teach Adobe Premiere? That's a real statistic for my channel. I was looking up, there's over 200 and some odd hours of just me teaching how to use Premiere, just that tutorial. And that's a wild statistic. And so what I've been able to do throughout these couple of months is kind of reframe and recontextualize what's going on and what it actually means. So 600 people want to see what I'm doing right now. That's wild. So talk to those 600 people and realistically just talk to one person. Talk to that one person that needs to hear it. So hopefully this is you right now. But if you knew it was going to fail from the beginning, what would you change? So for my state of mind, everything that I've been doing on this channel has not been money motivated. Thankfully, I have a little bit of savings, and unemployment has not ran out yet. But I would like to see what would happen if I make all these choices based not on how much money they would make, but on how much I could give back, how much I could share, how much I could help somebody else as they're on their way. You know how to do something that I don't know how to do. Everyone in the world knows how to do something that somebody else doesn't have to do, but we've created a society where it is better off to leave them hurting and wanting, so those gurus at the beginning can be standing outside of the gates going like, I know how to do that. Most of the thing that they're going to teach you, you could learn through any YouTube channel that is offering it for free. So stop spending money until you're making money. If your YouTube is not making any money, stop buying gear, stop buying accessories, stop buying all this stuff. Just keep learning. So instead of learning from people that are working right now, what do you want your channel to look like? With my channel, I want it to feel like PBS and local access. I want it to feel like anybody can do it. So those people that are offering the skills, they're not helpful. So stop spending money. Don't buy anything. Don't buy anything. Anything. When you start out in these kind of creative businesses, everybody will tell you that the way to become a filmmaker or the way to become an artist is you need the perfect paintbrush or the perfect camera or the perfect whatever. It's just not true. The camera I'm filming on right now may look like nothing, and it kind of is because it's not very well made. It's old. It's like 15 years old, but I'm trying something different with it. I don't care. I want you to feel like you're sitting here in the garage with me right now. So what is the channel that you're building? What is the world that you want to build? Think about that and how you can make that. And so just don't buy anything. Stop buying stuff. That's the moral of that story. So thinking like a creator, not a consumer. And as you're making all of your content and as you're making all of your videos and as you're making everything that you're going to make in your art making, think about it as a creative. So if I was creating this, what would be helpful to another creative? My audience is not so much consumers, but other creatives. So I'm on a slower path here. If you're trying to go fast, you can go fast. But like I said in the last one, I don't think it's going to lead to where, or at least it didn't for me. It didn't lead to the path that I wanted. So a creator means that you're making stuff. And a consumer means that you're consuming stuff. And so this is something to dissect just on your everyday. And so I'm recording this on Christmas Eve. This is going to be the last video that I make in this studio for the end of the year. And before I kind of do an overhaul and put a lot of new stuff up. And so this was the hardest one for me. And so what I ended up doing as I stopped consuming, I deleted stuff off my phone. So I stopped using it after I left the office. I left it locked in here in the garage sometimes. And so I think when you shift your mind from I want to create versus I want to consume, then think about what you're putting out into the world. So you're going to have to start thinking like a creator and not a consumer. And so you'll see that this whole list, there is nothing on here about money because there is no money. So if you're thinking about it in that capacity, what will you do moving forward to turn yourself into a creator and not a consumer? When you're watching a lot of stuff trying to learn how to do this, think about where you're putting your time as well. So if you're putting a lot of time into the guru aspect of it or the get rich quick kind of scheme, then that's going to end up being a harder path to come out of. So if you get into this creator thing and also just create with no intention. So a lot of times I'm making these videos. I don't know how many people are going to watch these videos. That's why I didn't title it How to Get 500 Subscribers. I don't know when this is going to actually catch on. I don't know when people are going to find it. And so if you're finding it on your journey, please let me know where you're at. Drop how many subscribers you have below, and let's see if we can try to build together. Let's try to find your actual community. But you're going to have to think like a creator, so start creating more, stop consuming as much, and the things that you are consuming, start thinking about how do those add to what I'm trying to accomplish. Okay, so it might be that you're consuming more books, maybe that you're consuming more history. It may be that you're going and looking at paintings or standing or going for hikes. Like that's your consumption thing. It doesn't have to be that you're always consuming somebody else's content. So think like a creator and not a consumer. That's the next step. Arguably, this is the most work I've ever done in my career. And yeah, this is hard. It's really, really hard. And there are invisible costs and there are visible costs. And so the invisible thing is the time. So the time is it's a lot. Right now, this is my full-time job. So I get up in the morning, I come out here and I create all day long. And then, you get to see it whenever it gets edited together. So this, like I said, is the last video of the year. So this will be the last one in 2025. And then in 2026, I'm going to start working on a feature that I'm going to basically teach you in real time and share everything that I'm learning as I try to make a feature pretty much as close to by myself as I possibly can. That won't go completely the way I want, I'm sure, but that's something that I'm working on. So the invisible is the time. The visible part of it is the money. So I said, I know in the last one, don't spend anything, but without fail, you're going to probably lose money doing this. And that money will be from jobs maybe you couldn't take, or maybe you had something that broke through the process and you had to replace it. And so I know I said don't spend any money, but that was more directed to don't spend money on classes and workshops and all those kind of things. Meet other people that are doing it at your level, work with them, try to learn from them, and create that kind of collaborative environment. But that money. But in my mind, these things are the exact same thing. And if you haven't seen my video, Time Equals Money, then I'll drop a link right here. But basically what I say in that is my philosophy on time is that it is money. It's the only thing that we can't get more of. It's a finite resource. I don't get any of this time back. So me talking to you right now, you better make sure that it's really something you want to talk about. If you don't want to talk about it, then stop talking about it. Don't do it just for the clicks and the money, because the money will be short-lived for, I think, a lot of these channels over the next 3 or 4 years. And I have seen a lot of these channels go away, and because they chase things that are only financial. So think about why you're doing it. And when I teach and whenever I work with new filmmakers and new artists, one of the first things I always ask them is, why are you doing this? Why do you want to make films? This is the hardest thing I've ever done. I had to create a studio in here completely by myself. I work in here by myself daily. I have to get motivated by myself. So quite possibly one of the hardest things that I've ever done. I'm doing it all alone. But in doing that, I'm also meeting a lot of people. I'm meeting people like yourself that are working through this as well. And so if we can meet each other along the way, then I think there's a lot of good that we can do together. So time equals money. Do something nice for somebody else, and the more money comes. The more you give, I truly believe that the more you give, the more that it starts to come. So nobody sees that I sat in here for, a couple hundred hours over the last couple of months to make these videos. They only see what I put out there. So start enjoying the process. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, but it's also going to be probably one of the most rewarding things you've ever done. And don't judge it in that first kind of 6 months to a year. Give yourself the time. Take care of yourself. What you may not see currently are the tens and hundreds of thousands of people that are doing the exact same thing that you're trying to do right now. We're all out there trying to figure out how this works. We're all trying to figure out how to make these things and how to communicate. So what is special about your story? So teach somebody something, and then that mental health thing becomes a little bit easier too, because people are finding you for answers of questions that they have problems. And so you're actually helping make their life easier as well. So keep giving back. I think this is something that doesn't get talked about. And this whole creative economy, I'm going to put together a finance series in the first of the year too. So if that's something of interest, make sure you subscribe, turn on those notifications so you can see it. But I want to talk about these aspects of the reality of it, and you can do more with less. So take care of yourself. You don't have to be posting every day. Take care of yourself. This goes back to like just storytelling techniques, right? We have like a little arc. So this is my long-term plan. I'm starting kind of like right here, right now. I'm on the uphill a little bit. So I started. This was kind of my 500 subs. And so now I'm starting to go up. I'm getting this compound interest thing. The structure that I mean about that is, what do you want to communicate? Over these past 50 videos in this garage, what I've tried to do is figure out what structure works for my videos, what structure works for my education, what structure for things that I want to look at. You might have seen, if you go and look at through my actual playlist, there's a lot of things in there of me just telling you can do more with less. That's the whole goal. I've realized over 15 years, 20 years of doing this, that whenever I take away things and make it what some people would say harder, it actually makes it easier because it's less roadblocks. It just takes more time. So you have to think about that. So the structure here is like, where am I going up here? I'm trying to get like that of the small one is I'm trying to get to the monetizing of this channel. Right now, none of this is making money. Everything that you're watching right now, I'm doing for free. It makes no money. Even if you watched an ad, I don't get any money from that. So something to think about, that it's a long road. I think the average channel takes 18 to 24 months to get monetized. And so because you have to do that 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers in one calendar year. It's kind of like unions in the film industry, which is just another gatekeeper thing, but I'll talk about that later. So I'm trying to get to this monetized, but what I'm actually trying to get to over here is a movie theater. This is a weird trajectory I'm on. This is my structure. My structure is trying to get into a movie theater. I want to help you. I want to help other filmmakers like yourself get their films into movie theaters. And so I am talking with theaters already to try to figure that out. But what I realized is I was going to have to start this education to let people know what I'm doing and how they can do it. So me basically capturing my trajectory and my goals as well will hopefully help you on yours. Your goal here might be not a movie theater. Yours might be that you want to teach. You want to become a teacher. It's a very rewarding skill. So once you learn how to do all these things and you start teaching to others, it's very rewarding. So this structure. The other thing I mean by that is you're going to have 7 days a week. You have the exact same amount of time as everybody else in the world. Everybody. So this Monday through Friday, maybe you work 8 to 5. So now you have like 5 to 10 p.m. What if you use this 5 to 10 p.m. to be a creator instead of a consumer? Instead of just consuming everybody else's content and everybody else's videos and everybody else's art, what if you start making yours, and then they can look at yours and maybe they get inspired, and then maybe we can all get off the internet? I don't know. That's just something I'm thinking about. Monday through Friday, you have 8 to 5, 5 to 10. So here you have 5 hours times 4, right? Yeah, you have 20 hours a week. You have 20 hours a week right there. Right now, pause the video and look at how much your screen time is. I'll wait. At the beginning of this project of what I'm doing right now, back in August, I was on my phone almost 10 hours a day. So today it is 1 o'clock and I have 14 minutes. So I think, like, I want to look for the week. I was averaging 54 minutes, which is down 73% from the last week. And that's because I deleted the apps completely off my phone a couple of weeks ago. And so I'm trying to get to where every time I have an idea, I don't have to go get it answered everyone. So this structure, you can be bored. I think boredom is something that we are all lacking. Think about how you're going to use those 20 hours a week, those 80 hours a month times 12, right? 80 hours a month times 12 months. Where could you be with all that time? You're a creator now. You got to start thinking differently, and you got to start thinking like you're a creator. There is nothing out there that nobody's going to force you to do this. It's all going to have to come from internal. You can do it, but it's going to be, like I said, the hardest thing you've ever done. And so you need some structure. So think about a schedule Monday through Friday. What are you going to do? So if you're working, you might be limited to your afternoons and your evenings, and that's totally fine. Maybe you're a morning person. For a long time, I would get up and, rest in peace, Bronson. But when I had my pup, we'd get up early in the morning. I'd get coffee. I'd take a walk. That cleared my mind early in the day. Now I just take a walk by myself and think about my pup. So maybe I need to change a thumbnail. Maybe I need to change something else. But so I will prep that week. And then I will write. So any of the scripts that I need to write, I'll put those together. Any of the graphics I need, I'll start putting those together. Tuesday is usually a film day. So I will film and edit in the same day a lot of times. I'm trying this different next semester. That's why I'm filming everything this 2 weeks while I'm kind of shut down for the holidays. And then I will be rolling it out. I'm going to try to get ahead of that, though, because I would stray away from this film and edit in the same day. It's very stressful, and it doesn't give you a chance to reflect and actually think about what you did. So you're editing right as soon as you've said it, which is it's not great for me. So I'm going to look at that. So if I was film, I'll put film or edit, because that's what I want to change next week. Wednesday, this is the day that I usually do something with people. Like I said, this is a very lonely activity. This is a very lonely thing that you're going to do. Nobody talks about that. I've not heard anybody going like how lonely this is. But I'm talking to you right now alone in my garage, right? It's a lonely activity. So make sure that you're thinking about that as you're going through it. So think about the people in your life. Go do something with them. Do something with your wife. Do something with your sibling. Do something with your kid. Go hang out with a friend. Go outside and take a hike. Get away from the creative activity. A lot of times I'll have creatives ask me, what's the easiest way to get over a creative roadblock? And for me, it's to just go ride my motorcycle, which is right here. It's kind of right out of frame, but I love to go ride my motorcycle. It clears my head. So, over the summer, I took a ride while I was right after I was moving. I took a ride and I went up to Blockbuster and gave copies of my movies there. And so you can see that in another video, but I gave some stuff away, and that was really something that helped me and kind of got me on this path. So the structure is good. On Thursday, I would upload, and then on Friday, I would reflect. This is usually my clean day too. When you're making all of this stuff, thankfully, I'm grateful that I have a tiny little one-car garage that we don't need a car in. It can sit outside, and so I've been able to take this into here. I literally can close at the end of the day and walk away, but it does get really, really messy, and so I have to think about that. This structure, whatever works for you, is going to help with your decisions. So if I know each one of these days that these are the things I'm going to do, it kind of helps a little bit. I change this up all the time. This is probably the 5th different schedule I've had. I love changes. I love things being unpredictable. I know that is not for everybody. So if this isn't for you, then make sure that you're doing something else. But think about what you can do inside of your time period. And once again, if you only had 5 to 10 at night, that's 4 hours, 5 hours. That's a lot of time. So think about how you could put that together, how you could make it. Also, this structure right here, think about when you're going to roll your things out. Last semester, I was just putting things out whenever I finished them. There was really no rhyme or reason to it, but I was also trying to figure out when people were watching. So you can look through those analytics as you get a little bit further along, and it'll tell you what time of day people are watching. And knowing what time people are watching, you can start to make your rollout schedule. I realized through my analytics that most of the people watching this channel are 25 to 34. So if that's you, hey, let me know in the comments below. I have a little pocket of like 18 to 24, and then I have a little pocket above that. So I'm starting to hone in to what my audience is. Now that I know the age of everybody and when they're watching, I can start making a schedule. So next semester, there will be a little bit more of a schedule. So if you're somewhere in the world that it's on a different time zone, then you can be able to see exactly when I'm putting things up and make sure it works with your schedule. But this is kind of my week. And like I said, Saturday and Sunday is no work. Don't speed it up. Stop speeding it up. Take your time. The breaks are almost more important than people give them credit for. Those breaks give you time to reflect. Those breaks give you time to think about what you've done. It gives you a moment to go, okay, I didn't like this. I didn't like this. Maybe I move the camera. Maybe I start talking about something else. Maybe this isn't, you'll hear this word niche. I don't think you need to niche down. I think you need to niche up. I think you need to add more things into it. If you're a creative person and there's a lot of people on here that are playing video games and talking about them. What would happen if you started talking about the history of video games? What would happen if you started talking to video game makers, right? So start thinking about different ways that you can involve that. And one of the things I started doing was talking to micro budget filmmakers. And because I couldn't find anybody that was really talking to these $5,000 and $10,000, $15,000 feature filmmakers that were distributing things on their own. And so what I did was I just put it together and no. I thought the microphone died, but we are good. This is a little bonus, but your audience sees a lot of your content out of order. And so thinking about that you're not really building on it, that's not how social media works anymore. That's not how these kind of things work. It's not like it's coming out weekly. So unless you're giving them that note to be like, watch this previous episode, then they're finding it at any time. So if you have something that's coming out, then you can be able to throw it out, on a Wednesday. Some of the tutorials that I do, whenever they're finished, I just add them. They're a bonus because I don't know when somebody's going to find them. But if you're doing like a show that you're trying to repeat weekly, then try to pick a day that works for your audience and that you'll have the most amount of people. And the reason for that is if you get, say 50 people instead of 10 people that first couple hours, it gets pushed to a higher amount of people and you can keep moving the needle forward a little bit. But that structure is going to be really important and it's going to help with your mental health. If you're a 1 video a month person or a 1 video a week person, those are different kinds of people. So do what is right for you. Don't listen to you have to put something out daily. That's not true. Right now, I haven't put anything out for 4 or 5 days, and I've gotten 10 or 12 new subscribers on YouTube as I'm taking a break for the holidays. Slow down. Slow down. It's going to take a while no matter what, so slow down. Your mental health and your well-being is much more important than feeding this beast or whatever. So I do both. Right now, I'm doing an unscripted, but I have bullet points. So I'm trying to remember exactly what I was going to talk about so I can make sure that I talk about it with you. The script thing is, I am still conflicted. I don't know which one works best. I do have some data from early on where I started scripting some of my philosophical kind of wonderings, my notes to a new artist. The retention went up. I also stopped mumbling as much. I think you're just going to get better at that the more you work on it. I've also been doing this for a while, lecturing in front of students and things like that. So think about that as you're going through. What's going to make you feel more comfortable? Also, reading off of a teleprompter is not as easy as people think, especially when they're smaller. And a lot of the prosumer ones are very small, so you have to get the font right so it doesn't look like you're reading back and forth. So it may not be for you. Maybe you're just a bullet point kind of person, and then you cut in between the bullet points, you cut out the dead space, you move on. What I think is more important versus these is what kind of channel do you want to make? If you're making a channel about how to be creative and how to write scripts and how to edit, I could never script any of that because I'm going to run into things that are problems while I'm filming it. I've had programs close. I've been logged out of programs. I've lost footage in the middle of tutorials. And I think that's very good for a new artist to see and a new person to see in general when they're looking at these is like, I'm going to fail too. We're all going to fail. I told you not too long ago that 90% of YouTubes fail. They never get past the monetization. I'm saying fail, that's somebody else's word. It's not a failure if you don't get there because you might be on a different journey. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt. But what kind of channel are you making? That is going to be important. Are you going to script or not? So the other part is what kind of person are you? If you are a person that does not do well with improvising and thinking off the top of your head, then definitely write a script. A couple of the ways that I've done this is I have done speech dictation. So what I'll do is I'll just literally open up an app on my phone. I use notes. I'll speech dictate, and then I transcribe that into a text, and then I edit it. I've also had things that I have done the entire video, get to the end of it, and then write the script off of the edit that I've done. This is a little bit more time consuming, and I don't do it very often, but some of the things that I need to work through, the only way to do it is to do something like this, re-edit it, re-script it. And then I also sometimes turn that into like a Substack article. So none of it's really wasted along the way, and that helps as well. All right, so we're going to talk about your posting schedule. How often should you be doing that? This is completely up to you. So these are the 3 things that I have done. Well, are they 3 things? I've done 3 different versions of it. I've done random, 1 a day. I don't suggest the 1 a day. It was way too hard. It wasn't worth it. And I started to get burnout. I couldn't get any better because I was going so fast. I didn't like that one at all. And now I have, 1 to 3 a week. So this random here, I would just put them up when they're finished. When they're finished, they go up. I think this is the place that most people should probably start until they get to the kind of that 500 range. Right now, you're trying to figure out who you are. What are you going to do? What do you want to say? What kind of things are you enjoying? Do you like vlogs? Do you like tutorials? Do you like mini documentaries? Are you making short films? Do you want to make experimental films? What do you want to make? And so this, just when you're finished, is putting them up. If you decide you're going to do this after you watch this video, I would put something up today. Start today. That first one is the hardest one. That's the first. The first one is the hardest one to kind of get in the can, and so you should go ahead and throw that up almost immediately. And so we're finishing there. The 1 a day is extreme. I will let you know if this is for you. I'm going to just say numbers. It was all over the place, but 1 a day, I got the most numbers. I got the most views. I got the most watches. I got the most like hours. I think that month that I did it for 1 month in September, and I got over 100 subscribers in a month, where my normal is probably around 50 subscribers in a month. But I was fried. I couldn't really think of. I still had tons of ideas for what I was going to do, but it was even more taxing than being a teacher and teaching 5 different curriculums, because I would have to edit them, film them, and then get them onto different platforms. Every platform has its own different thing, which is a whole other thing. So you got to find these systems and these structures that work for you. And so for me, this was the most extreme. I would suggest not doing it. It took too much out of me. I think if you're going to do 1 a day, you need a team. And right now, like I said, it's just me. So that's not the thing. 1 to 3 a week, this became kind of the sweet spot. And so what I would do here, if you've been watching this channel, is Monday would be like a philosophical wondering. And so this would be my notes to a new artist. It would be me just talking to the camera about something that's going on, that's a topical interest in the film industry or in the media world. And so that would be there. Somewhere in the middle, I would put up a tutorial. So whatever I was working on that week, I'd put up a tutorial on how to use Final Draft or DaVinci. And so I have a whole list of those now that you can see. And then on the Friday would be something called Slowdown. I've also called it the creative process. And so what this was like a 30-minute deep dive of me doing something. Sometimes it was in real time. Sometimes they were all kind of weird as I was trying to figure out. And now that I know what works and what doesn't work, I'm trying to turn this into a TV show that I could get on like public access television. So I'm about to post an interview. I talked with a TV station here in Southern California a couple weeks ago, and trying to figure out like how we could collaborate on that. So this ended up being my sweet spot. So with this kind of 1 to 3 a week, I think that's a good place to be. Also, once again, these are all kind of long form on YouTube. And what I would do from these YouTube videos is I would now take those down into shorts. And I've done it a couple different ways. I've used something like an Opus, which is kind of like a program, an algorithm that grabs little sound bites. I've also done with editors. I've edited, 10 or 12 of these shorts by paying editors to do a short. And then I've also just done direct-to-camera things where I'm talking. And one of the things that I did for that ended up leading to something pretty big on... So I would take all those down to shorts, and then I would have the content that I could use across there. I was also trying to put out a short at least 1 to 3 times a week. And what I would do is these were always kind of like a call to action. So that's a CTA. And that was basically to try to get you to go watch the long form version of it. So if you're making something, think of it as like a trailer for whatever your long episode is, it's good little sound bites. It helps with social. It helps you to build kind of like a community. And what's great is these shorts have led to over 1,000, I think it's close to 1,100 It's close to like 1,100 followers over on TikTok now, and it's all from these shorts that came from these longs. So think about it. Everything is building on itself, so you're using these for multiple different things. You can even go back and recut some things. Some of the stuff I'm going to put out in this first semester of July, so second semester of in 2026, I'm going to put out some of these videos that didn't really do so well because I only had a couple hundred followers at that time I only had a couple hundred subscribers at that time. So now I'm going to be able to go through and actually restructure them. I've learned some things. Maybe I do new thumbnails. Those were when I was following the gurus, and I made some wild choices of like what to name things and what to put the thumbnails. And I really need to go back and I should have just stayed with what my idea was like I'm making like a PBS local access station on the YouTube. So I shouldn't have listened to them. But don't do any of this work on your phone. And I'm sure that if you've gotten to this point in the video, which is a long, long video, if you've gotten to this point in the video, you're probably on board with this. But if somebody found this and jumped right to this point and was like, well, it's social media, I got to work on my phone. It's not the case. But from just a logistical standpoint, get off your phone. You're a creator, not a consumer. These apps are made for consumption. They're not made for creating. You might have noticed a couple of weeks ago that Instagram updated their app, and now in the bottom is the button to send something to someone, and the create button is in the top left corner. It's literally anti-creation. You're having to move your entire hand and go through all these things. Stop using those apps to do it. Use just their desktop app. It's a job now. You're not a consumer anymore. You're a creator. So start using it like that. Since I've deleted off my app, I feel like everything with my stresses went down. My mental health is better. And I don't know until I get up in the morning how many views I have or anything like that. Because even if you know how many views you got overnight, what are you going to do with that information? Nothing. So delete them off your phone. Creating in its own should be its own act. So you should be creating and not worrying about posting. Whatever you're creating today, don't worry about posting it yet. Just worry about creating it. I know I'm saying this basically to myself. I'm acting like myself is watching this right now because I'm the worst about this. I'm a creator, not a consumer. And so to not be a consumer, I need to get rid of that thing. Phones are for consumption. They're for doom scrolling and everything else. And I'm not saying that you don't have to have any fun, but I'm saying if you want to be a creator for a living, most creatives are not at a point you stop consuming. You don't need to watch any more videos about how to make a video. You need to just go make something, fail at it, and then try again. So get rid of those so you can just work. The data is out, my friends, and the mental health aspects of being on your phone all the time is not great. And so as somebody that grew up, they turned on the internet when I was in middle school. It never turned off. It's not going to go off anymore. You're not missing anything. Knowing stuff in real time is not helpful for anybody. So get off that. And also, you're not going to be able to use that right away. This takes the ideation phase from here to back up to this creative thing. You're not going to have enough time. So I would suggest if you're trying to look for inspiration from other places, look at stuff that's not internet related. I think we're going to start shifting away from this very instant gratification over and over again, and people are going to want something longer. They're going to want to listen to you and hear your stories and hear what actually happened to get where you got. And so think about that when you're working on it, is that the mental health is going to be a big thing moving forward if you want to keep doing this. Get off the internet, go to your library, read a book, go sit at a bench, write some stuff down. You have more than enough ideas in your head. You don't need to see anybody else's ideas of how to edit a short together or to put this on top of Subway Racer or whatever they're doing. I know I sound like your mom or your dad right now. Just share. Stop being stingy. Like I said earlier in this video, you know how to do something that I don't know how to do. Make a video for it and share it with me. What could you teach me how to do? Maybe you know how to knit. Maybe you know how to ride a skateboard. Share your knowledge. Share it with everybody. For one, if you're sharing your process, so say you're working on something right now, you're trying to create something. Remember, I said I'm trying to find a movie theater. I'm trying to partner with a movie theater. I'm documenting that as I go along. For one, if it doesn't work, I'm going to be able to see what didn't work and how I can change it. If it does work, somebody's going to be able to see that I did it. And they're going to be able to follow along. They're going to be able to poke holes in it. They're going to be able to do their own thing. So first of it is just documentation. So we have to document these things. And we have to share them with everybody. And so if I'm documenting this process with you, you can come back and look. I can come back and look and see all the bad mistakes. Maybe the things I'm talking about today won't be right in a year. I hope if that's the case, you'll drop a comment if you're watching this in the future and going, that's not the case anymore. And then I can fix it. I can come in and I can let people know that there's something new that they could see. Somebody seeing you learn something in real time is a very powerful thing. As a teacher, one of the first things that I thought was I had to know everything. And that's just not it's virtually impossible. And so when a student or a new creative or a young adult sees a grown person make a mistake in real time and learn from that and what they had to overcome, you're documenting it in real time. So I can see when you run into roadblocks, and then what did you do? This helps with creative problem solving. This helps with backward planning. It helps with a lot of different things. And so you might be sharing how I started a arts and crafts store in rural Nebraska. But what I saw from it is like how to start a business with nothing, right? Everybody's going to get something a little bit different out of it. So start documenting it and showing us how you're learning. It's very valuable. Going back to the gurus thing, I don't think I saw anybody on there that was failing in real time. And I might be wrong. There might be some of them out there, but I didn't see a lot of honesty. I saw a lot of taking advantage of a situation, and I saw a lot of things in those videos that I didn't want to be. And so when you're documenting these things and you're sharing your process and you're sharing everything you've learned along the way, the reason I'm going to tell you this is because I still know that most of you aren't going to do it. And I'm not saying that to deter you from doing that. I hope you'll prove me wrong. But I know that most people that are watching this video are never going to do anything I said in here. They're going to go, I have a better way. I can do this. I can do that. And that's great. And I hope it works. And I hope you can share and you'll make a video just like this for the people that want to watch how you got through the process. But this honesty right here is honesty to the person that's watching. I'm not trying to hide anything from you. This worked for me. It may not work for you. I want to be transparent with that. But honestly, if you do these enough times, if you make 50 videos, you're going to get to these places. Are you willing to make 100 videos over the next year and learn how to find your audience? There is not a get rich quick scheme. You do not get through this fast. It's a very, very slow thing. We've already talked about it. It's very, very hard. And so honesty goes a long way if you're learning in real time and you can show your audience what's happening. As I'm writing this, I'm thinking about calling this the reality of YouTube. And then up here was just going to be watch out for gurus. And up here is going to be every single thumbnail, like in a big grid. That's what I'm thinking this is going to be. So you might see that. You might have seen that thumbnail when it goes up. I'm also going to try a different thing. So you have A and B. You have A/B testing. So for all of your thumbnails and all of your titles, I would do that A/B testing. I would go through and I would try to figure out how I'm going to test these different things. You could try the same. Maybe you're really good at thumbnails, but not the title. So try the A/B testing on that. This is a very nice thing that's been put on there now, and it'll start to figure out. But I would avoid any kind of clickbait. Remember back there, we're trying to gain trust. We're trying to gain all these kind of things. If you're putting clickbait in here and you're not delivering on it, people are going to know that. They're going to put thumbs down. They're going to stop following you. They're going to stop subscribing. And then your channel's going to kind of go away because you're trying that trend from the gurus early on. So avoid that clickbait. As far as when it opens, a lot of people will say that it needs to be exactly what it was, really flashy. I think what it needs to be is you need to set your tone immediately. So whatever your thumbnail is should be the tone of the video. Right? This is going to be like 10 things I've learned about this, that kind of style, but I'm doing it in a little bit different format. So if you saw the beginning of this video, I did like a little intro that showed you my journey until we popped into this. So think about that, avoid that clickbait, and then communicate instead of manipulate. If I'm communicating here, you should be able to see what's going on in that video. The reality of YouTube. Okay? That's it's a little clickbaity, but it's like a question, right? And then watch out for gurus. Now in your head, you're going like, oh, I've had those. Yeah, that's for me. This is for somebody that wants to make a YouTube channel. This is for somebody that wants to live a creative life. This is somebody that wants to make stuff for a living, this video, right? So that's who I'm trying to get to. And then the last thing is don't let design complicate things. So your design, figure out a design that you like, something that you know how to do. Maybe you have a friend that wants to help out. I think that's underestimated. So the thumbnails I'm using right now were made by Allison and Dan, my cousin, her husband out of Chicago. And they are marketers and graphic designers. And they really liked what I was doing with this channel and what I was trying to do of teaching media and financial literacy through filmmaking, which is what I'm doing. And so they helped me with this, the thumbnails you're seeing today. So ask somebody for help. Maybe there's somebody out there that is very interested in what you're doing and they can help you through the process. So, all right. Is that good? Is that good enough? Is that good enough for what this is? So I want to thank you if you made it to the end of this video. It means that you really want to learn something different and you want to learn something new and try something different. And when I started this YouTube 6 months ago, it's been open for a long time, but I started it in this iteration 6 months ago and what I was going to do with it. My goal was to meet filmmakers and creatives, and ideally, I am the first person you meet on this journey. I know whenever I started working in creative fields, there's a lot of grifters and swindlers and people that are trying to get you off your path. And I don't want to see any more creatives get off that path. I want you to go further and know that what you have and what you are working with today is perfect. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. You're not supposed to be doing this any faster. You're not supposed to be doing this any slower. We're all on these different paths. And the more that you learn about the creative life, the more that you find out that there is no right way to do it. And as soon as you also learn that there's not a lot of money in it, it changes everything, because you realize, oh, I don't need as much. Maybe I can do this with less. Maybe I can try something differently. Maybe I can have a half-painted wall in a garage with a whiteboard and teach what I've learned. I am so optimistic for 2026. I'm so excited for what will get created out of this collective of people that are stopping by this YouTube, that are reaching out to be interviewed and decide to do it. So if you're a filmmaker and you want to talk about your film, reach out to me. And I want to be here, and I want to basically keep opening the gates as many times as I need to open them to let you through and know that there's another way. So I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you do something kind for somebody, and please drop your YouTube below. I want to check it out. All right. Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2026.